This lesson is going to enhance your presentation skills by diving deep into some powerful features that will make your slides not only more visually appealing, but also more effective in communicating your message. By the end of the lesson, you'll have a strong grasp of these tools and techniques, empowering you to create professional and engaging powerful presentations. We're going to work on this file and just do some modification. Most of the features are quite common and there will be one or two that are new. Okay, we're going to start on slide 2. So I go slide 2 on the left hand side, and on this slide 2 we're just going to do font formatting on the content placeholder there. Remember, there's no need to go select that way. You can just click on the border of that placeholder, and if it turns solid, that means everything that is inside it is actually selected. So we're going to change the font size there to a size 24. Okay, that is quite common. And then we're moving now to slide 3. And on slide 3, we're going to change this bulleting from bullets to a numbering. Okay, so select the list. And then we know that we have bullets and numbering here. I'm just going to click on numbers there. So it's that easy to switch from bullets to numbers. We've learned that already. And then on slide 4, what I want to do is for us to change this bullet type, make it a star. Okay, so I will select the whole content placeholder, go back to the bullets. So now instead of just clicking on the bullets, I'm going to go for the split button by clicking on the arrow there on the right hand side of the bullets. And then that's the type of a bullet I want, which is the star bullet. But you'll notice immediately that the size is quite big. The bullet looks bigger than the text itself. So we're going to go back and change the size to 100. Okay, we've done this before. Okay, bullets and numbering. And then the size there, we can change that and make it 100. Okay, the size, the color is still okay. So that looks much better. And then back on slide number 2, we realize, but this is just a paragraph, it's not a list, so it's not necessary that it's actually bulleted. So what we're going to do is remove that bullet by going back to the bullets and saying none. Okay, even if it looks like there's no bullet there, because it's quite easy to just change that bullet color and make it the same as the slide color. So if your question says remove a bullet, you cannot just assume that there's no bullet there just because you don't see it. But you will realize that as soon as I say none, then the paragraph is quite near to the border there. Okay, and then now we're going to bold it, italic, and then we'll change the line spacing to a 2. Okay, so this is really a top priority, so we need to accentuate on it. And then I will go to slide number 5. On slide number 5, what we want to do is go on the right hand placeholder and insert an online picture called weights. Okay, remember we've learned how to insert a picture. You can go insert and say online picture, but because the placeholder is empty, there's no need for us to go via the ribbon. We can just click on one of the icons there. One of the icons is to insert an online picture. Click on it. So we have our Bing search box, and then we can just type in weights, enter. So it's now searching for the pictures. I will just take any, let me go for the red weights, insert. Okay, there we have our picture. We can resize it if we want to, or we can just leave it alone. We've learned how to resize. We can just use the crop and resize there, or change the height and the width from there. Okay, so now I would like to go back to slide 1 and also include a picture from there. But you will notice here, I actually don't have any placeholder. I can just select an icon from and insert a picture. So I am kind of forced to go via the insert. So I'll go insert, online picture. So the picture that I want on slide 1 is called fitness. So I will type fitness in. Okay, I think that's fine. Insert. Okay, so I just want it at the right hand center there. So I will just go to, remember when a picture comes on a slide, whether it's Word or PowerPoint, it comes with that format tab. When we didn't have a format, a picture,
our tabs end at storyboarding, but as soon as we have a picture in, then we have that format. So that means anything to do with formatting this picture is on that format tab. I just want to align it to the right hand side, on top right hand side of the slide there. So I will go say align right, and I actually want it on top, and the picture is quite big, so I will just resize it and put it there. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. And then now we're going to go to okay, it's resized, we are happy. I want to now crop this picture on slide number 6, so I have to go to slide number 6, and you'll see that we have a picture of a gentleman and lady running by the beach there. So I just want to crop it. So when you crop a picture, that's when you want to get rid of certain elements on a picture, or you can crop a picture on a shape. So the cropping that we want to do now is to get rid of certain elements on a picture. Okay, select on a picture, and then we have the resizing handles, and I'll go to the format tab. That's because that's where we get to format the picture. And then you'll see that there's a new feature that we haven't done before. We've done everything else except for crop. Okay, if I click on crop, you'll see that the resizing handles change. So we call this the cropping handles. Okay, and then I'm going to select the right middle one, left click hold, and drag it inside. I'll also push the top one. Let me go for that one, and then just push it a little bit. Okay, so this gray area, if I click outside the picture now, will be cropped out of the picture. It will be no longer be part of that picture. Okay, if I click outside, and that's what we have left of the picture. Okay, and then another thing that we can do with the crop is to put a picture inside a shape. So I'll go back to slide 1 and put this into a shape called oval. Okay, so instead of it being in rectangular, we're going to see it in oval. So but now, since we're going to put it inside a shape, this is not what we're going to do. We know we get shapes on insert, shapes, oval. So we can't put an oval there and try to put that picture inside that. It won't work. Okay, we can do that through the crop formatting. So we go to crop, but we're not going to click on the crop there because we don't want to get rid of certain elements on a picture. We rather want to put it inside a certain shape. But you will notice that it's a split button. So there's an arrow underneath them. So I'm going to go for that arrow and say crop to shape option. I want it to be inside an oval. So we'll go and look for an oval, and then there it is. Click on an oval, and that picture now has just moved into an oval. Okay, how did we do that? Remember here, it was cropping inside, it's getting rid of certain elements. So on the format tab, crop, and then we have the resizing handles, and then whatever you decide to get rid of, the gray area, when you click outside it, it will change. But now, alternatively, we can put it inside a picture, inside a shape, sorry. So by going to crop and say crop to shape, select any shape that you would want it to be in. Okay, so I think I'll just leave it at that. So we're going to go to slide number 3 now. On slide number 3, what we want to do is to insert a text box, okay, and then position it on the left hand side here. Insert shapes. Please remember that a text box and a rectangle are two different things. Okay, we want a text box. Click on this text box, put it there, and inside this text box I'm going to type in the text employees. Okay, we can resize the text and make it a size 24. And then I'll just reduce this text box a little bit, and then we can also go to insert also and also insert an arrow, the shapes. Just going to add shapes on that slide number 3. So I want a right arrow, a right block arrow. Click there and just put it on the side there. So we say these key training initiatives, if you go through this, then employees can actually be led to success. So this success word, we want to put it inside a star shape. Okay, let's go for the stars and banners. I want that 10-point star there, and then inside that we're going to type in success. Okay, so we have our 3 shapes. We are happy. So we see that for the employees of this company or this gym company, if you go through these key training initiatives, it's 6 of them, then this will lead employees to success. So we're not saying this in a bullet format or even a paragraph. We're just showing it in a shape format, visuals, graphicals. That also works because this is a PowerPoint. Okay, so moving on. So we're now going to we want to actually change the feel of this shape. Okay, it's something that we've actually done before. We can play around with the shape fill, and then change the color as we like. Okay, or leave it as that. We can make it lighter. Okay, it's everything that we've done. Remember, you can also change the outlines, go for a darker color like I just did there. We can also do the same with the arrow. Let's just go for the darker shade. Okay. Okay, now we're going to do what we call an eyedropper. Okay, how does an eyedropper work? I will go to slide number 6. What I want here is to change the font color of the mesh bank fitness, okay, without having to guess which color I want to use. Okay, so the color that I want to use is this sky blue color on the picture of that lady there. Okay, we know where we change the font color. There it is, font color. Click on it. Okay, we can guess that this is it's that blue there, ice blue background true, or ice blue background true darker by 50%. But we don't have to guess what kind of shade is that color. We can go get it exactly as it is by making use of what we call an eyedropper. While I have the mesh bank fitness, the title placeholder selected, I can go to my color. So instead of selecting a color, I will go for an eyedropper. Okay, it's right underneath the color options. If you click on it, you'll see that the mouse cursor changes to an eyedropper shape. And then as I'm moving it around the slide, it's changing colors. You'll see that's a purple, which is the lady's t-shirt color. And then if we go there, that's her skin tone, which is brown or tan. Okay, that's the color of the water, ice blue. So let me just go there. That's the color that I want, which is ice blue. Not, it doesn't have any, it's just ice blue, not darker by 25% or so on, so on. So when I'm happy with the color that I want, I just left click once, and that color drops from the picture to that title there. So that's just how easy it is to change a color. Okay, how did we do that? I want this title to take one of the colors on the picture, okay, without having to guess what color it is. So I'm going to make use of an eyedropper. Okay, literally take a color from that picture and drop it on the title there. Okay, on the font color, the normal area where we get our font coloring, but instead of selecting a color, I go for an eyedropper. It changes, move it around, and if I have a color that I want, just click once and that color drops into the title. Okay, and then on slide number 5, what we're going to do now is to change the font color of arrow under the recent colors to blue. Okay, so I want to change the title, make it the same blue. I'll go back to colors again because it's already been that I've used that color. It just drops there. It's part of it, of the recent colors, so I don't have to make use of an eyedropper from that slide. You can just click there. So these two slides now have the same colored title. And then we're going to duplicate a picture. Going back to slide number 6, what I want to do now is to have the same picture on that slide. So we'll select that picture. We can say copy. You'll see that copy is a split button. If I click on it, we can say duplicate, or on the keyboard, you can say Control D, and that will copy and paste your picture. Just create a duplicate of the picture. And then now we want to actually separate these pictures from one another. So we're going to use align options under the format tab. We can say align first. It is on align to slide, so that's okay. We don't want it to be on aligned on selected object. So it has align to slide, so we are happy with that. If we had found it on align to selected object, but in fact I forgot something, we need to select both pictures first, because we want them to be separated from one another, so it cannot just be one picture. Remember, to multi-select, we have to press Control on the keyboard and hold it. Okay, while the first object has been selected. So both pictures are selected now. We go back to align. We don't want this option of align selected of objects, because when you say that, so that means when you do alignment, you're aligning them relative to one another. We rather want to align relative to the slide, so we're going to change it to align to slide. Okay. So when we get there, we want them to be aligned to the left-hand side. You can see that the picture, that is the first picture, is already aligned on the left. It's just that this one is just a little bit to the right-hand side. So we can go align left. And then separating them, we're going to separate them vertically. So we're going to say distribute vertically, so that there's equal spacing in between our pictures. We go back to align and say distribute vertically. We know vertical movement is up and down. Okay. So there you'll see that you have the equal spacing there on top, in the middle, as well as below. Okay, so that's what distribute vertically does. Okay, we could have put our picture in an oval, a star, or whatever shape we want, so I think I'll leave it at that. So that's how we have slide 6 now. Okay, and it doesn't look so bad. So we will go back to slide 3. Okay, I think we can actually do more on this picture. It doesn't look quite nice. If we select both of them and just change the soft edges, maybe a 25, a 10 looks better, so that the edges look like they just rubbed out. So it's blending in quite beautifully now with the slide. Okay, on slide 3, so now we want to align these shapes that we entered. Remember, we had a text box and arrow as well as that. Okay, let's change this font size and also make it a size 24, and then just resize this so that it looks nicer. So what I'm going to do now is to select all 3 shapes. Okay, hold Control on the keyboard, select the second one and the third one, so all of them are now selected. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is try to align them middle, and then we will distribute them horizontally. It's the same thing we did on slide 6, but now it's a horizontal alignment. Okay, Format tab, and then we go to align. So, but we don't want alignment of the slide. If I say align middle when I'm on alignment of the slide, this is what's going to happen. It goes to the middle of the slide. What I rather wanted is for the shapes to just be in the middle of one another. Okay, okay, let me just put this a little bit up so that I can demonstrate that. Select 3 of them, go back to align, and now I say align to selected object. So if I go back and say align middle, they go on the middle of one another. The biggest shape there is the star, so it makes sense that they are right on the center of that star. So had I said align to slide, we saw that it goes to the middle of the slide. Okay, and then what I want now is to do a horizontal alignment. We're going to say distribute horizontally so that there's an equal spacing between our shapes there. So you'll see that as soon as I said to align horizontally, this space was shorter than that one on the right hand side. But if we say align distribute horizontally, it moved a little bit to the right hand side, creating that equal spacing between our shapes. And then the other thing that we can do is actually group these 3 objects into one object. You'll see that it's 3 separate objects. So right next to your alignment, we have our grouping. You can also do it on a right click. If I say click group and we say group, you'll see immediately that they just moved into one big placeholder. So it treats it as one alignment, and as I move it, it moves as one big shape rather than 3 different shapes. And then now I can go and align them center so that they are at the center of the slide. Okay. So we can view this slideshow from the beginning, and that's how it will look. We inserted a picture there on slide 1, and then we fixed that, changed the at Marshall Fitness employee training and so on and so on. We put in 3 shapes there, aligned them horizontally, changed the bulletin to stars there, also inserted an online picture, and then distributed these pictures vertically, and the new feature being able to use an eyedropper in order to change the font color. And another thing that we can do also, we can play around with the shape fill, just like we did with any shapes. Remember, a placeholder is a shape so that it's already there on a slide. Okay, we can change this. Let's change the shape fill and give it just any color. Okay, that darker one is okay. And then the outline and even darker shade, we can also center align that. I don't think it looks nice with left alignment. And then you can just play around with it. You can play with the soft edges if you want to. So I think it looks fine that way. Okay, we are done with this presentation. For the second part of chapter 2, we're just going to kind of play around with pictures. We will also play around with background when we get to chapter 3. Okay, so let's get to our file. That's how it looks like. So I'm going to start on slide number 6 when we get here. You see when we get to slide number 6 that we have a picture. What I want to do to that picture is to remove the background so that it blends in with the slide. The slide. You can see that it doesn't look quite nice because the slide is quite yellowish and the picture has red all over it. Okay, want the format tab. So that means I have to click on the picture. There we have format. And this is one of the new features. It's something we haven't done to pictures before. So the very first option is to remove background. If you click on it, you'll see that we have red. That red color is still there and the purplish color around it. So when I click outside that picture, the purple color will be moved out of that picture. So that's how we remove the background, but it doesn't look nice at all. So I'm just going to apply soft edges. We've done this quite a lot before so that it can be wiped out and then it looks like it blends in. So go for picture effects and then for the soft edges a 25 point and then it looks much better. We'll increase the size and then that's how we now have the picture. And then still on that slide number 6, you'll realize that we have a title, Pack Your Bags. We call that title a word art format. So we're going to do some arty things now. So it's some kind of a word art. So we just want to change the style of that word art. Okay, we're going to change it and apply the tight reflection touching word art style. We will find that on the format tab. You'll see that we have shape styles. We've done a lot of that. So now we have word art styles. Okay, we haven't played around with word art before. Okay, the text art. Okay, so we will go for the styles. On the style, what I'm looking for is what is called tight reflection touching. Okay, or not style shape, sorry. So remember, you can just hover around until you find what you are looking for. I think I'm just gonna, okay, let's go with that one there, orange. Okay, that's okay. And then the text effects, we can change the shadow or a reflection and make it a tight reflection touching. Okay, so we changed the color, we gave it a reflection, so we are happy. So it looked black, it was just dull. We changed the color of it by choosing a different word as, and then also went for text effects and went for the reflection. Okay, so now that what we're going to do is to move to slide 3. Okay, on slide 3 you'll see that we don't have a title, so we want to type in a title but we want it into a word art still. So where do we insert word art? On the insert tab. Okay, insert tab, and then we want to insert word art. So the one that we will go for is the pattern fill. Okay, that one there. And then inside that we're going to type in featured trips. Okay, there we have it. And then I just want to move it on the top of my slide there. We can just drag it up or just say align top, and then it moves top. Let's also give it that reflection. Okay, text effects reflection, the same one, so that it also has that reflection. So you'll notice that as soon as you have that word art, it comes with format, just like we had with shapes as well as the pictures. Okay, and then we insert it on the same insert tab that we insert pictures as well as shape form. There we have word art. Okay, and then we're going to now go to slide number 4. When we get to slide number 4, we have the normal bullet. This is a title and content outline. So what we want, or layout, what we want is to change these bullets to a smart art. Okay, so now we move into smart art. Smart art, that's when you want to make bullets arty as opposed to word art, which makes text in an art format. Okay, so we're going to change these 2 bullets, the premier as well as deluxe, and change it into a vertical box list smart art graphic. You'll see that on the home tab, okay, you can convert this normal smart art to a normal bullet text to a smart art. Okay, home tab, on the paragraphs you say convert to smart art. You get quite a lot. So the one that I'm looking for is vertical box list. Okay, that's hierarchy, and that's vertical picture list, vertical block list. No, I'm looking for a vertical block list, so I'll go for more smart art and then just look for it, and that's a vertical box list. That's the one box list, that's the one I'm looking for, and then okay. So this is how a vertical box list looks like. So we have premium, we have the deluxe rooms, and then we can also add a 3rd bullet from this one. So I'll just go there on the 2nd bullet, right click on it and say add shape after. So we will have a 3rd bullet there. And then let's say we also want to talk about the standard rooms, and then we can also explain, just like we see that the premier is on the ocean, it's an ocean view rooms, the deluxe is poolside, and then the standard and the city view rooms. So we've changed quite a normal bullet to a smart art. We also added a 3rd one there, which is standard rooms by the city. Okay, right? So now we're going to move from slide number 4 to slide number 5. What we want on the slide number 5 is to insert bullet. We can just type them on there, but we want this bullet to be on a smart art format. So remember, there's nothing to convert, hence that is actually deactivated. So we're going to insert a smart art, which is insert, and then we can say insert smart art. But because the placeholder is empty, you can just do it from one of the icons. The one of the icons is to smart art. It's also available on a right click, insert smart art. So the one that I want now, it's a vertical picture accent list. Okay, let's go look for a vertical picture, vertical curved. And that's vertical picture accent list. That's the one I'm looking for. Okay, and then this one, you see that we have the picture icon on the circles there. So this allows us to insert pictures. Okay, so inside the first one, we can insert the name of a person. Okay, let's say the first person is Cindy. Okay, we can say Cindy Jackson. Okay, and then enter, and this person stays at some house number. So we kind of just having a random address. Doesn't really matter. We can also have the telephone numbers. Just type in some random things. And then now I want the picture of this person. Just click on the picture icon. I don't want to search online, so I will just work offline. And then okay, so that will be our Cindy, insert, and that picture is in there. And then we can do the same with the others. So their details, telephone numbers, whatever you want to type in there, and then when we want a picture, so this allows you, during this presentation, when we talk about the people to contact in a company, can be this person. You see the picture, you kind of see who you're going to talk to, or that person, or that person. So if you go on the format tab of that picture, you can make it look larger, you can make it look smaller, and then the third one smaller. So you'll see that when you make it smaller, then the font size automatically increases. If you make it larger, then the font size on the right hand side automatically decreases. Okay, and then we can also change that shape. If we don't want a circle like we have that, then you can change that shape and make it any other shape. That's a smiley face, a heart, or we can make it, let's make it a rounded rectangle, that one there. Okay, same there. And the third one, we change it also to a rounded rectangle. Okay, let's make that one smaller. All right, so it looks okay. So what we're going to do now is go, okay, while we're still on slide number 5, okay, we've done everything on slide number 5 that I wanted to show. We're going to go back to slide number 3. Okay, so what I want to do is to change the layout to hierarchy. This is already a smart art. Remember, it's the slide where we inserted a word art title. So now I want to change this to a different smart art, a hierarchy. So we'll get that on the design tab. Okay, you'll see that we have different layouts. The one that I'm looking for is named hierarchy. Okay, there it is. Okay, it's quite nice. So this is what we had, and then this is now what we have, West Coast Central, and so on, so on. We can play around with the colors if we want to. Okay, we can go for the colors and just choose a different color. Those are yellows. I'll go for that dark 2 yellow. It's okay. We can also change to the 3Ds smart art. If I click on the arrows there, you'll see that we have different styles of 3D. Okay, I think that one is fine. What is it called? It's called a cartoon 3D. Okay, so there I have it, and then I will go to slide number 4. Let's say we're not happy, quite happy on slide number 4 to have it on a smart art. So you can convert back to a normal text bullet at any point. Okay, if I select my bullets and then on the design tab there, okay, I have my bullets, design tab, you'll see right at the end we have an option to convert this to text. So it's back to the normal text that we had before. And then you can go back to home tab again and convert it to any smart art. Go back when you have the design tab. Remember, you'll get that design and format when you have smart art. Okay, convert to text, and then they disappear. Okay, so that's how we convert from smart art to text, from text to smart art. And then that is the end of our presentation. So what we had here basically just smart art, how to remove background from the picture, and then we played around with word art as well as smart art. Right, moving on to chapter 3 of PowerPoint. Now we're going to play around with backgrounds. Remember, we were able to change from one theme to the next under the design tab. We're not going to choose any of the themes there. We're just going to play around with backgrounds and see how best can we actually just change and create our own theme. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do while I'm on slide 1 is just to change the color variants. With this we've learned, we find on the design tab, you'll see the variants. So with the same design, we can go for purples, for reds there, just different variants. Okay, or we can go for more options, and on the more options, I will go for colors and go for blue too. There we have it. And then we can also play around with the fonts. We have font. You'll see that this font behind here keeps on changing as I'm moving from to different fonts. Let's go for that one, Garamond. Okay, and then still on that design tab, what we can do is also change the background of that color. So we go back to the variants there, and then we say background styles. So I'm looking for style number 7, which is that one there. So you'll see that now the shading, okay, we had different shades of blue and greens, and then now that background style 7 gives me just basic blue colors without the greens. Okay, and then I'll go to slide number 2 and change the background color to a style 3. Okay, but I want that, you'll see that when I changed the variants, all of them had the same shades, all slides. But as soon as I changed to a style 7, all 4 slides changed to a style 7. But on slide number 2, I want only slide number 2 to change to a style 3 without having an effect on the other 3 slides. Okay, we go back, we go to background styles, and then style number 3. that one there. So I want it only to be on slide 2, so I will right click and say apply to selected slides. So that only changed slide number 2. You'll see that it looks darker than the other 3 slides. Okay, and then I'll go to slide number 4. What I want to do on slide number 4 is to remove the background graphics. Okay, so we'll see we have background graphics, those circles and the numbers there. I don't want them there on my slide number 4. So I'm going to go to format background. This format background is the same as we find here on the variants, and you say format background styles and say format background, but that's quite a long way of getting there. You can just go click there on the, still on the design tab, and say format background. So the format background pane will be on the right hand side, and I'm going to say hide background graphics, and you'll see that it's just plain. All other 3 slides still have the circles and the numbers, but the 4th slide doesn't have background graphics at all. And then on slide number 1, we're going to make this and change it to a solid fill of blue accent 2. So now we just move from gradient to solid fill. So when we say solid, that means we don't want too many different shades of blue changing to darker, and then in the middle it's lighter, and so on and so on. So the color I want it to be blue. Let's go for blue, that's turquoise, blue accent 2, and then lighter by 60%, that's 80% there. Want that one, so it's quite light. Okay, it looks quite different from the others, and then it's kind of a standard blue. It's not changing shade in the middle, at the edges, and so on and so on. Okay, and then on slide number 3, so on slide number 3, we're going to apply brown marble texture fill. I'm really not a fan of textures, so we change. Remember, we just did solid. Now we're going to go for picture or texture fill. We're going to change this to a brown marble texture. Okay, there are the textures, and there's the brown marble. Got to admit, it doesn't look nice at all, but this is just for demonstrative purposes. Okay, and then go back to slide number 4. What I want to do on slide number 4 is to insert a picture as a slide background. That's quite nice because you can play around with it. Maybe with food and beverages, people, when we get to a project, you can get a nice glass or some nice plate, so long as it's not the colors on the picture not fighting the colors of the text on the slide. Okay, so again, I go to picture and texture fill, and when I get there, I'm going to say insert a picture, not on line form file. I already have a picture, so we'll go for chapter 3a. Okay, there I have my picture insert. So now the background of that picture just changed. So we can play around, and maybe I can try and make this 100% the transparency. So remember, you can change when you choose a picture as a background. You need to be careful with the font color. So I can't go now and change that font color and make it a green. That will not make sense at all. It will be hard to read because the green, the grass, the trees are already green. A black can work, and that white also is not so bad. Okay, let me go back to white. So what we can do is to change this background picture's transparency. Okay, let's see what will happen if we make it a 100%. Okay, I'll just drag that to 100%. It totally shades out. 50%, it's still quite blurry. And then 16, 13, 9, 10%, that's quite okay. Okay, it's not blurred out, but it's quite of just shaded a little bit out, and then so that we can still read the text on it in that white color. And then on slide number 3, we're going to do what we call, okay, I just want to reset this background. Let's say we really don't like this the texture fill. You can get rid of it. Okay, it's really not nice. Okay, so what I can do, I'm on slide number 3, is just go at the bottom there on my format background pane and say reset background, so it will go back to the original background colors that it was in when I found it. Okay, so I'm done with the background. That's how we are able to change the background and creating your own theme and playing around with it. Okay, so we're going to do what we call an animation. An animation, that's when you animate objects on a slide. Okay, it works the same as transition, but you will remember with transition that would kind of just animate the entire slide, so that when you play it out, when we get to that, then it fades in. But that's not what we want. We want to animate the objects that are on that slide, that title, the bullets, as well as the picture. So it's not going to be done on a transition. Remember, the transition animates the slide itself. So now we're going to move to animation. Okay, so what we want to do here is to apply the wipe animation entrance effect. You'll see when you open there, we have entrance, you have emphasis, as well as exit. I want the entrance one. So I want a wipe. There we have it. So those bullets will be wiped in. And then I want to zoom in the picture. Okay, there's zoom. And then when we play out, it will zoom. And the title, let's go for bounce. Okay, the bounce, bounce, bounce. There we have it. It's still on the entrance. Okay, so if I now say preview, so that means the bullets will play in next, and then there will be a picture in the title. Let's say slide from the current slide. So this is what will happen. First bullet, the second bullet, the third bullet, the picture zooms in and the title bounces in. But you got to admit that it doesn't make sense that we're playing in the bullets first and then the title last. It would make sense if we play in the title first. So I'm going to click that title, go back to animation. So what we're going to do now is just to reorder the animation that has to play in. Okay, you'll see that the sales bullet plays in first. You'll see number 1 there on the left hand side. The parts and services plays in second. The trails guidance bullet plays in third, and the picture will play in fourth. And lastly, on position number 5 is the title stuff. We don't want that. So I'm going to click on my stuff, and then still on the animation on the right hand side, we can reorder. If I say move earlier, so that means now the bullets will still play in first. It will be now the title and the picture. That's not what I want. I want it to be on position 1. So I still wanted to move it earlier. There it's on position 1. So it will be the title, it will be the bullets, and then the picture. So if I now go preview it, it's the title first, it will be the bullets, and then the pictures. Okay, so that's how we reorder. And then let's say we don't really want okay, but before that, let's what I want to show now is what we call animation painter. Okay, remember we had a format painter which would kind of copy the formatting from one text to the next. We can also do that with animation. Okay, I want slide 4, these bullets, that as well as pave, to have the same animation that we just applied on sales parts as well as trail bullets. So I'm going to go on my slide number 3. Okay, click on those bullets there. On the animation, right there towards the end, you'll see on the advanced animation, we have what we call animation painter. It works exactly the same as the format painter. If you click on it, it also changes the mouse cursor into that paintbrush. Now go to slide number 4 and click on those bullets. They also now have that animation. Okay, so if I preview, you'll see that the bullets will play in next. And then I go back to slide number 3. I don't want the stuff title there to have an animation, so I can remove it. Go select it, go back to my animation and say none. So it's not animated anymore. So if I preview, that means the title will already be there. The only thing that will be animated in will be the bullets as well as the picture. So we're just going to do what we really know, just tables. That's the last part. We've already done tables quite a lot. It's a lot of marks if you know what to do, because then we get to mark cell by cell. Okay, so I'm going to go on that slide number 2 and insert a table. We know where to insert a table from. Can be insert table, or we can do it from that placeholder there because it's empty. So one of the things that it has is the insert table icon. So I want it to have 3 columns, and then let's have yeah, that's okay, 3 columns, 3 rows. And then now typing in is going to kill me. Okay, we can have surname, okay, this we all know. We can have a name, just typing into a column, and then a percentage there, and then let's say this person is A, their name is B, and they got a 50% on a test. Okay, and then this person is C, with the name D, and then this one got a 90%. So we have our table. We're quite familiar with tables, nothing new. So from a table, we know that if we want an additional row, we can just go and we can right click and say insert, okay, insert below, and there we have our additional row, and then we can have person EF with a certain percentage. We can maybe get rid of the name column, okay. Okay, we can right click on that column and say delete. What I want to delete is the column where I'm in. So now I'm on my 2x4 column. We can play around with that table. Let me just select all of it. It's selected just there on the border. Okay, we can go for a different design. Okay, that doesn't look nice. That is fine, just for illustrative purposes. We can play around with the effects. Let's have the first row, actually just the first row, because it's the title row, have a certain effect. We can go for a bevel. That's a circle bevel, so it pops out. I think it will look nice with a different style. That black title doesn't quite work well. You guys know by now that I'm not an artistic person, so that's why I normally kind of struggle with what to select and what not to select. Okay, so if we go for the title there and then go for the effect and say circle, you'll see that it quite pops out. Okay, and then still on the table, what else can we have? We can play around with the borders as well as the shading. We can go for our layout and move our table to the text to the center. We can move it to the left and so on, so on. Okay, I will leave it at center there. But if I want to align the actual table, not the text inside it, then it's going to be this alignment here. And then we can align it to the center of the slide, in the middle of the slide. Just move it around. You can play around with your ruler in terms of resizing your table. I just put it on 4 there. Okay, on the horizontal ruler it's quite smaller. Now we can make it bigger. I'm going to put it on a 5 there on the vertical ruler, and then it looks quite big. Okay, remember this alignment here, it's the horizontal and vertical alignment of the text inside the table. So what's moving is the text inside without moving the table itself. But with this alignment, this is when I want to align the actual table right, left, and center. So this will be your horizontal alignment and this would be your vertical alignment. So let's have it middle as well as center. Okay, so nothing new on the table. Whatever that we learned on Word still applies. Okay, that is the end of chapter 3 and our end of PowerPoint and the last unit.